Welcome to my channel. In this channel we'll give you tips for West Coast swing and freestyle dance and also performances. So consider subscribing to keep up to date with the latest posts. So in today's video we're going to look at what do you do with the spare arm in West Coast swing, or otherwise it's also known as the free arm, which is the arm that's not connected to your partner. What do you do with this arm? So we have some tips for you today, so let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to look at today is a choice which you could have is in the free arm being a bit more straight, like an extension. And this could be good for dancing to more fluid music, maybe that late night music which has more of a fluid feel with it as your leader or a follower. Or if you're dancing to lyrical stuff which has a nice feel for the arm to be out here. So here's some tips for you. So I like to think about the shoulders having this line, and then the arm is a continuation of that line. So if I turn on my side here, you can see how the arm is continuing this line of the shoulders, rather than being here, like this. So think about it being a continuation. So that's the first tip we can have for the arm. We also would like to think about the arm being purposeful in terms of the energy that's like flowing through it. So this is an arm without energy, if I show you the side here. But as I put energy, you can see it's got a really nice shape, a really nice line. And this inspires me a lot in West Coast swing and in dance in general. You see lovely lines. So we think about this purposeful energy kind of running through it, as opposed to just letting it be wherever it is. So we can also think about it not being completely straight, but having a slight bend in the elbow, if I show you here. So rather than dancing like this, just have a little bend in the elbow there. And I think it's wonderful, these joints we can think about here. So with the free arm, we can think purposefully about what's each part of the arm doing. So we can break down the arm, for example, into the shoulder joint, where the arm moves up and down, the elbow joint, like this, and also the wrist joint. Obviously you can also go into the individual fingers too. So with this arm, it's a good drill which we can do, is be aware, wow, what's each joint doing? So it's a good one to, as you're dancing, practicing on your own or with a partner, just be aware of, you can even close your eyes actually, be aware of what this arm is doing. It's a really nice drill to do, instead of just not thinking about it and letting it have its own life. So that's a good drill we could do. And so with that in mind as well, thinking of these joints and so on, we can now think about that arm being an extension, going up to the fingers. You can choose as well, depending on the music or what style you like to have, whether you want the fingers to be a bit more energetic. The West Coast swing doesn't tend to have like really energetic fingers. They might be a bit more relaxed. I like to think I'm clicking my finger and it kind of finishes in this position. That could be one idea for the arm. Or you might have it more like this. I'll show you on the side. Like this. Imagine you clicked. It's a little bit more relaxed, and this is a nice position for the arm. So if I'm a leader, I might be doing a left side pass, and the arm might be like this, as I'm moving along. As a follower, the arm might be here, and I think about that shoulder line as well. I'm going into my anchor step. I've just finished my anchor step, going into my 1. The arm then comes forwards, which is linked to movement of the body, which we'll be looking at in a bit. Another thing we can think about as well for the followers is that when you're spinning, usually we'll bring that into what's known as a spin frame. You might have the frame here or in here. Just be aware that the shoulders are not coming up as you bring that frame in. So what this is good for is so you don't hit your leader as you're being spun. Imagine if you're being prepped for a turn and then you spin like this with the arm out. That could knock out anything in its path. So what we do instead is that we can think about closing that frame as we're doing our turn. Also, by bringing the arm in, it gives you some energy as well for that turn. Although of course we're not throwing the arm, which can throw you off balance if it's too much. That's another thing to think about with the free arm. So imagine doing a side pass, a right side pass, and you're going to go for a 1 and a 2, 3 and a 4, 5 and a 6. You can have the arm out as it's in its normal place. 2, 3 and a 4, 5 and a 6 in this nice extension. But if it's going to be a turning pass, so it's 1. So it has the arm, for example, it has your right hand. Just 1, 2. It releases, both arms come in, and it comes back out again. So we spoke about the free arm being like a straighter line, which creates a beautiful line, good for say fluid music, smooth music, lyrical music. Another option we have is to bend at the elbow, which makes that line a bit more like cut off. So I think about this, I might have the elbow slightly behind me, maybe more on the side, and still think about the fingers in the same way, like you just click your finger and it's relaxed. And this one has a different look to it. It might be more the style you prefer. So if I imagine I'm a leader, I'm leading like this, and that arm is more in a more relaxed state like this. The elbow by the side. Follows you might be the same as well. Your hand down here, as you're going into your, for example, sugar push. The arm is here. So that could be another option as well. We can also think about, I've seen some followers who like to change the way the fingers look as well. They might go for more of a style like this, or like this. You might want to also think about leaders and followers. If you want to rotate that wrist around, for example, this way around, or have the wrist more like this. I see followers dancing like this, which can make a nice line. But as we've mentioned before, it's creating that purposeful energy. It's always that nice purposeful energy, instead of being like a dead arm. There's been some funny names of this over the years, of this dead arm, like the T-Rex, for example. So that's some more things to think about there, about having that purposeful energy, holding it up in the air. Are you going to have the arms twisted like this, more like this? Are you going to be like this? Generally, you don't see that as much, I would say. So that's bending at the elbow. And with bending at the elbow, you might want to use that again for the lyrical, for the smoother stuff. But if you're like thinking, I prefer the straighter arm for that style of music, then you could use a bent arm. You might think, this is more for more staccato music, maybe blues, maybe hip hop, which has a more of a down to the ground feel. You might be dancing more like this with your arm as a leader or follower. You could even change the height. So some leaders might have the arm. I've seen leaders dancing with the arm more up here, which they might feel like, this is the style I like, having the arm up here. So that's again another option to think about with this bent at the elbow look. You can also think about the height. Where is it going to be bent? So a drill we could do is, again, thinking about investigating those joints. So you might want to think about, what's each joint doing? What movement can I do? You can do this in front of a mirror as well, or in front of a camera and film yourself, and think, okay, if I'm going to move from the shoulder, this is this type of movement my free arm could do as I'm dancing. I can move from the elbow, in and out, and just really enjoying getting to know your body. I can rotate the forearm, which then rotates the wrist and the fingers, like this. You can even change the wrist angle as well. So all these things you can choose to do with your arm. You can even think things like, and this is Miguel de Souza who's helping with this, if you move your elbow outwards, that moves your wrist in. If I move my elbow inwards, it moves the wrist out. So these relationships between the joints as well, we can be thinking about, be aware, be mindful about. So this could be another drill for you as well, to investigate the body movement, what each joint is doing. And then you could dance and just do your basics maybe, and just think about the free arm. Just be aware of what it's doing with your free arm. And you find it starts to have a really nice life of its own, like this. And if I'm a follower, I'm thinking about what my free arm is doing, that movement. Might go at the elbow here. And then obviously you start to come into other realms of what the hand's doing in certain, shapes and movements it does. So for a free arm can add such a wonderful dimension in our dance, and can make it just the simple look really good. Like, I've always been a fan that less is more. So if you're doing your dancing, it doesn't have to be full of complicated moves, but just for you to have good posture, you're smiling, you've got nice lines. I just think that just can look so good, so inspiring. Can be worth a lot more than someone doing lots of complicated moves, but like bad lines and so on. So the next thing we're going to look at is, as well as the arm position, how's it going to move? Do I just keep it fixed in that position all the time? And as you may see me doing, the arm was moving as I was doing my patterns. So one thing we could think about is the body, the body causes the hand to move. So what I mean by that, for example, if I'm doing as a leader, I'll do this facing you. If I'm doing a right side pass, I might be angling my body outwards like this on purpose. I take my first step, and then as I move my body, my arm follows with it. So the energy of the body is making the arm move, which can make a really nice movement. So if I show you again, I'm going backwards for 1, and the 2, 3, and the 4. Then my body starts to open up again, which makes the arm open up. I might be doing that with a sugar push, for example, and Carl Gregg mentioned this. Fantastic, I love what he said. So I'm doing a sugar push. As I close, the arm comes in like this, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm asking my follower for her arm. Instead of going 1, 2 and offering it that way, which you could do, I'm closing my body, which makes the arm move, asking the follower for her hand. Like that. Follow is exactly the same for you as well. Imagine I'm doing a sugar push. I've done finishing off my anchoring to my 1. The arm, I have my free arm. If I decide to go for an extended version, I close. The arm closes with the body as I do my sugar push, 3 and 4. I might open up my body and the arm goes with it. Again, I'm going like this and close the body for 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. And so I might have my free arm like this, bent at the elbow. 1, 2, I do my prep. Look at the free arm like this. As I do the leader leads a prep for the tuck. I'm also thinking about that foot pointing as well, having a nice line. So for 3 and close the arm on 4, and then 5 and 6. I might have to bring the arm out again. Again, that's under 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. Fantastic. So that was what we could think about in terms of movement of the arm, rather than being in a fixed position, how it naturally moves with the body, and it adds a wonderful dimension to your dance.